The Knoxy and Kax Show with Liz Knox and Karell Emard. Let's get it. Go.
Welcome back, sports fans, to the Knoxy and Kax Show on SDPN in partnership with the PWHPA. I'm just laughing because Kax just did her impression of our theme song to get me going here. It is an early one, but that's good. We're happy to be here. So today's episode, obviously, just the two of us again. Yeah. I like to do this every once in a while. We get some alone time.
It's needed, you know?
It is needed. And today we're basically just going to kind of talk about the PWHPA. There's been some questions floating around, how do we even know each other? How did the PA start? Some misinformation out there. So I feel like we could just do a little catch up, maybe recap some of our episodes. And then we are also going to talk about the Washington showcase, which I was at, and the Rivalry rematch, which Kax was able to watch. I wasn't. I'm not exactly in my home base right now, if you couldn't tell.
I was going to say, maybe you need to address the fact that you're sitting in front of a beautiful headboard there and those two lamps on the wall.
Yes, this is not my decor, although I might adopt it. It's very nice. I am in Mexico right now, so nice. Yeah, happy to. We couldn't miss another episode. We missed one a few weeks ago, and I felt very guilty about it. So we want to make sure this happened.
Dedicated. We are dedicated fans
from everywhere. Okay, so let's get into the bones, the beginning of the PWHPA, and start with, I guess we can name our player board. I'm sure everybody knows who's on it, but obviously the one, the only Karell Emard, and then we have Sarah Nurse, Brianne Jenner, Hillary Knight, Nora Ratsu, Kendall Coyne, Schofield, Jocelyn Lamoureux, Alyssa Gagliardi, and Kim Sass. So that is our representation.
That's a pretty official board. But then we also have some nice and great people helping us as advisors. And Liz Knox is part of it. And so is Shannon Zabados on this too. And then the one thing, so obviously it's the board, player board and the representation, and we're part of the discussions and the decisions, but it's always in terms the players get to know and approve as well too, on top of it. So this is the PWHPA board, but I guess we're going to get deeper and deeper into how it was formed and a couple more things for the people listening, because I agree, people don't necessarily know who we are, what we do exactly, and if we're a league or an association. So
so timing. Information kind of like funnels through the board to the players, and then back out. I mean, it was the easiest way for us to like build a communication structure. And it's funny because like even when the PA was formed, which we'll get to in a second, but we didn't really know what we were doing. The CWHL folded, and like I got a phone call the next day from Hillary Knight and Kendall Coyne, and they were like, hey, I was with the CWHL Players Association at the time, and they were like, we need to do something, like we need to get the players on a phone call. So I was like, okay, and we just like, go ahead.
I know, I was just going to say, I remember the one phone call. I was driving, and actually at the time Hillary was living in Montreal and stuff. So when the news went down and everything, like the first thing I did, I was like, you need to call Liz Knox. I don't care what the heck happens. And she was with the CW at the time too. So she knew all the Canadian a little bit more. And then Kendall was going to switch over. There was a couple of things that were going to happen the following year. And anyways, when that went down and officially seized all operations there, it was like, okay, we got a chair here that kind of knows what she's talking about. It seems like she knows and represents really well the players. And I'm on the board of the CW saying, I am so disappointed. We need to push more and complaining to you all day, every day. So it was the right step to do. I was like, bring the American and Liz, and then let's get the national teams to talk at some point. But that was
that was the craziest part, which I'm sure most of our listeners have heard by now, but the Canadian and American teams were over in Finland preparing for the World Championship at the time. It was in April, right?
Yeah.
Around that time of year. Mm-hmm. And so they actually, while they're at the World Championship,
they got the phone.
Get a call that it's closing. They basically drop everything and find a conference room. And these two teams that we've just seen the rivalry. Like we've seen it through the Olympics. They hate each other. They don't
talk in those kind of like environment setting, you know?
Yeah. And then they sit down and they basically this. So it was like, what are we going to do? And so how the PWHPA was then formed was like, I'd say it was like a pretty organic thing where it was just like, it started as one phone call. What are we going to do? And then it became like, okay, we need to like bring somebody on to help govern us. Right. And
one thing I'll add to that is we on the Canadian side had never seen this. And I don't think the American had seen that really truly the way they did. But there's always this concept of creating a union, of having the one voice. And when we spoke about this before, Liz, but when they did the whole, they wanted to I'm looking for my words right now. The boycott for Worlds, Jesus, in Detroit, in Michigan. They actually came together, but they had spoken to other national teams, like the soccer teams and stuff like that. So I feel like they brought in a little bit more of that aspect of, we need to, unionize or like become an association to then be able to dictate or like have demands or decide where this group should go or the future of women's hockey should go. So I think they brought that a little bit to our side and then made us kind of like, discover all that in a sense. And just because they were able to talk with a few other members of other teams or national programs that did the fight, right? And then Billie Jean King came in, which we won't get too quickly into that, but so that I would say they brought that side, and then we were just like, okay,
it's very like stereotypical, like Americans and Canadians, like Americans are, I don't know, like, and there's nothing, we're just slightly different. Like Canadians are very just like, do what you're told. Yes, please. Thank you. No, please. Thank you. And the Americans are like, no, like we need to organize ourselves and like become a union or figure something out and move forward. And we need lawyers and, like through those connections, that was like literally how quickly the PWHPA was formed, was just like, hey, we need a law team. And so we brought on Ballard Spar, and then it was like, we need somebody who's been here and done this before. And Billie Jean King, like, I don't know the ins and outs of that conversation because that was, I know it's a surprise, but it was not my phone call. Hey,
I don't know if it was Kendall. I don't even know if she reached out or we reached out in this. That's something I'd love to actually find out. I would
love to know.
But I think Kendall has been a big part of that conversation or both. I don't even know, but someone reached out to each other, or they said, or Ballard, maybe John even mentioned. John, our lawyer,
with the soccer teams, and Billie Jean King worked with them, and it's hard to know the networks.
And again, organically, these people joined our fight, and actually, Billie Jean King kind of like when she jumped on board, I was like, damn, like this is going somewhere. I don't even know what she's about to say. Yeah, but I feel like she's bringing the experience and all that, but she's also bringing the I was like, I can't believe she's on the phone call with us. Actually, I'm like, this is big.
There's a confidence that like she brings, where she's just like, she's so like bought in. Like she's just like, this can work. Like if you guys, stay together, this can work. And like that's kind of how she talks. She's just very straightforward. And then Alana Kloss, obviously her partner, like has been amazing. She's like the Kax. Like she's like, she thinks through problems. She's like, well, hold on a second. Like, do we really want to do this? Do we really want, how will this look? Like much more like deep dive. And then Billie Jean is much more like big picture, like let's stay united. Like we can do this.
And I think you alluded to that, but the fact that she believed in it from the get-go, from the start, then I was like, hey, if she thinks we can do it, I thought we could potentially do it. Now I'm in. Like
exactly. And then of course, Ballard Spar, we mentioned, like our law team that's been working pro bono for us, and they've been fantastic. John, who has all his experience on the women's side of sport, I would say in general. And then like we talked about, you mentioned Kendall, who's like the president of our board. Yeah. And she's fantastic. Like, she is one of the nicest people, and she like has a good balance of I would say like Billie Jean and Alana. Like she is like highly motivated and highly bought in, but also very like in tune and aware of
cautious and
yeah.
And I think even throughout the years, she got better and better. Like the first year, like, I remember just like she was on top of it again, same way and everything. But I think she didn't have as much experience as she does now that she's in, she's referring a lot to the Chicago team, the soccer team that she and her husband are actually part owners in. And that she's seen the CBAs, she's seen like player contracts, she's seen like a lot more in that sense, and has learned probably a ton about the league itself. So it's so good to have those kind of input too when it comes in. And I can tell like now, like she's, I don't know, her and actually Hillary Knight and Jenner and Nurse have been impressing me a lot in these conversations. And it's just good. Everyone is on top of their stuff. And I could name, Gags as well too. Everyone is just giving good inputs. And yeah, I'd say that when the first few meetings, and then, I think Kendall's the one that went and opened the account for the PW and then transferred it to a company. Like it just, everything happened so organically, but so perfectly put with the right kind of humans in place.
And so fast. And that's exactly it. Like I was just going to say, it's been fun to really watch this board develop because, in the beginning, naturally, like Kim Sass, Alyssa, myself, we were really concerned, like, okay, we need to take care of our non-national team players. Mm-hmm. Like we need to make sure this is not just about the Olympians. Like, we have also sacrificed a lot to be here. And like now it's like you just kind of watch, like you said, those like the leaders and, the national team girls be like, wait a second. Like, but what does that mean for the non-national, they've developed an advocacy for all of the players. And I think that's one thing that's like really inspiring is like, it's kept all of us bought in. Like it cannot be about just the national team girls. That was like from the onset.
Yeah, that was like from the beginning too. I felt like even in the, like, I thought we would have to fight to get them to like, hey, there's us too, like, and it was kind of like the first thing they actually said. It's like, we're nothing without you guys. So we are no better. And it's all about you guys being able to like play. 'Cause there's going to be a spot to play hockey anyways. Like both national programs would take care of them. Right. Yeah. So in order to keep the games going and everything, or keep them active basically. So they did the flip side and kind of like, no, we need these guys to play and we need the pool to stay active and
elevate everybody. Right. Like that's kind of the goal, is that it's not just the resources going to the national team girls. It's that we could have resources for players across the board, which is going to inherently make them better, but also make others better and then make it more competitive. Yeah. So, and then later on, like we were a few months down the road when we hired Jana. I feel like I have to like
you have to say she works for us.
Huge shout out right now, because of the last episode, I laid the hammer down and told her that she works for me. But no,
she did say it in a press conference the next day after or something like that. She's like, technically I work for the players, and it's true. And people need to understand that too. And I think it's fair that you said it the way you said it, Knoxy. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I was being like a little bit like not sarcastic. I don't know what the word is, but you know what I mean? Like I was like kind of little tongue in cheek there, but no. And like, honestly, Jana is phenomenal. Like this is a player that I was lucky enough to play with in Brampton, but she is exactly as she comes across. Like she's so even keel, like never too high, never too low, just always steady, stay the course. She's an incredible leader. And she's like also doing her MBA right now. Like
at the same time as
running
like every single meeting.
Yeah. Like trying to organize showcases, trying to build a league, trying to do this, like meeting with investors, meeting with sponsors, like organizing the players, making sure the players are happy. Like how, and she has 3 kids. Like, how this woman does this, I will never know, but we are. And they are
a really small team of, humans that work with Jana to help her out with all this too. So, a lot of them are wearing different hats, and, if it's marketing or sponsorships or, operations. I think it's impressive what they can do with very little resources. And I think that, shout out to all the GMs and the coaches that are here and trying to make the showcases, or the team, to stay active and everything. I think that's another aspect. They're doing it for the greater good as well too, and not because they're making huge salary with the PWHPA. Let's be honest.
So, and it is work, right? Like it's a ton of work for these coaches and GMs to everything from like hotel rooms and booking and stuff like that to just like showing up to the rink on, a Wednesday at 10 o'clock at night.
Exactly.
Like it's not easy on anybody.
No. And it's, they're doing it because they believe in what, we're trying to do, I think, first and foremost. And then, after that, they get to know us and what, like the voice, like even at first they're curious and they get in and they understand then why. And then they're even more committed. Like we've added a couple coaches here. Peter Smith is now with us too, the retired head coach of McGill.
Hold him out of retirement.
Yeah, he came back. It's a thing. People come back from retirement to help.
How that happens.
So I don't know. It's just fun to see that. And again, if we recap quickly, the PW was formed because the CW folded. But it was probably something that needed to happen in order for this game to evolve the way it did in the past 2-3 years through COVID and the pandemic. And then where it's going is so encouraging. And we see it as a slow process, but I feel like it has already changed in terms of the demands, and people are not questioning what we are asking for anymore.
Yeah. In the beginning, it was like, wait, you guys want to get paid to play hockey? Like,
and there's a league, just go play. We get that. Thank you. Or, hey, I'll start a league for you. I'll start a league for you. This was the amount of times.
That was a fun phase. It was like a quick, 4 weeks after the CWHL folded, and there was. And
before you go, time out, nothing against these people. Absolutely love the fact you guys wanted to help and everything and started this, but we just wanted a bit bigger. But go ahead. I have so many of those too.
No, and you're right. Like it's all the people who like, you just want to see women's hockey progress. And I think as the players, like you say, we appreciate it. But at the end of the day, we're looking back like, well, we don't want to just slap a Band-Aid. We don't even want to slap a price tag on it. Like we want to build something that is like has longevity, right? So it was a fun phase though.
There was some like
DMs
very quick one. Like, here's what you need to do. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's good. Or I'll start a league, and you guys, I'll start a league, and I'll name it this. Like, you remember the logos were presented, everything. So I was like,
one of the ones that came to me was like that the players would go out and sell tickets, like selling almonds. Like we would just go door to door
chocolate bar and
sell chocolate bars and tickets.
I do want to say that there is some propositions, I guess, that looked really like good too, and people were trying really hard to align with our visions. Like there's some funny one, and there was some like very the amount of like partners that could be involved in and the people's kind of like visions and everything. And it was just not necessarily the right timing when these came up. But again, right now and where it's at, and without COVID, without the pandemic and everything kind of like a little bit clearer, that's when the people can come up and talk with the PWHPA now.
And I think that's a fair indication that people really do want to invest in women's sports right now. And like women's hockey is, arguably the biggest area of opportunity right now. And women's soccer too in Canada, like still striving for a professional women's soccer league in Canada. So, it's a good time. And it like you say, it's not a bad thing that we had people looking to help. But there were definitely some funny moments.
Let's put it that way. There's a lot of
the
great
other thing
ones.
I was going to say. I keep seeing I don't know who it is, but somebody keeps saying that the PWHPA shut down the CWHL. And I'm like,
oh God,
you got it backwards.
Actually, it's the opposite. We thought the CW was healthy. We thought honestly,
our meeting was going to be like, oh, we just got on this big investor, this big sponsor.
And
like,
congratulations, the Boston team is now like switching. Minnesota is joining us. Like, this is what we thought. Like, honest to God, I remember texting you before. I'm like, oh my God, I'm pumped about this call. Like,
it's gonna be sick.
This is gonna be like sick. Like, we're gonna hear something about it. And it was the total opposite, people. It was the most shocking phone call. And just, you don't know what to say and do. And you're like, but what now? Oh, you go and figure it out, players.
Yeah. No resources to you. No, here's a black book of our contacts. Like, literally nothing. They didn't give us anything, which is that part probably pissed me off the most, honestly. Is like,
I think we can say it now.
Yeah. It pissed me off. Other than when they sold our trophies.
And jerseys.
And jerseys. And I understand they had to liquidate everything. Like, I get it. But like, symbolically in sports, like, you're seriously going to sell trophies on Kijiji basically to like Bill.
And there's some good people that bought them and want to repurpose them for the future of like in whatever happens next or whatever. Yeah. Or they were big fans. So, but yeah, that was like an ultimate low, I'd say. Yeah. And yes, the PWHPA's goal is never to take over a league or to kill a league, whatever that is. Like, please get that out of your heads. We are simply an association that wants to get something better than whatever is already existing at this very moment. Yes. That's all.
Which probably should have been done before. Like, in the grand scheme of things, like, was this our responsibility? Maybe not. I don't know. But it landed on us. Yeah, it landed on us, and here we are. Yeah. So that's like the nuts and bolts, I would say, of the PWHPA. Yeah. How we started, where we came from, where we're going is to be determined.
Yeah, dun, dun, dun. Exactly. And before we move on, like, just, all these rumors, I've had a couple like, so is the league starting next? Like, I'm like,
next
guys, these are rumors. We are on the board, and we will let you know when these things are actually officially out in the public or out even to us. I think people are moving a little bit too quickly, but at the same time, anyone that's looking at the scene and kind of like analyzing what's going on in the world and in women's hockey and the momentum that's happening, I get it. I get why they're assuming something's happening next year or whatever. But yeah, just wait for us to announce it as an association, please, before these things are coming out in like newspapers, or like, I think in the French land, it was like Radio Canada, like CBC, whatever. And someone was like, hey, it's in that, so it must be true. I'm like, well, no, actually, I don't know what to tell you, but it's not there. It's not there. Are we closer and closer to something? Probably closer than 3 years ago. Absolutely.
Yeah. We'd better be.
Exactly.
If not, I'm staying in Mexico.
Like, are we looking forward to, announce a few things in the future? Absolutely too. Yeah. Let's see, like, just wait, people. Yeah. And once it's out, we promise on this pod to go in details about what it means and what, things are at officially and whatnot. So
I think that's kind of the fun part about this. Like, this podcast is, it's like inside player, you're on the board. I'm an advisor. Like, if there's something to tell, we will know about it. So yeah,
we promise to give you enough details so you don't need to make your own kind of like assumptions.
Exactly. And part of all that, hype or momentum or whatever has been the NHL involvement in our last 3 tour stops, obviously, and Ottawa, Washington, now Pittsburgh. So we're going to kind of recap a little bit Washington. I was there, and then a little bit of the rivalry rematch, which Kax was able to. I still haven't watched it. I've watched the clips that are on the Twitter when I have my Wi-Fi down here. But Washington was fantastic. Like, Meg Turner talked about it a little bit. Like, we landed, they shuttled us to the rink. We played at the Caps practice rink. Yeah. And it's actually really cool. It's like a parking garage, but then the rink is on top. So like great ergonomic footprint. Good on them for that. And yeah, we were met with the staff member outside. He took all of our bags and we're all kind of like, do you want us to?
This is not what we do usually. Yeah. We carry these things and
we're like looking at this building and the rink is on top of it. So we're like, are you sure you don't want a hand? Like there's, there was like 12 of us because we came in like 2 different flights. Yeah. So we're just like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. He said, no, you guys are pro athletes. Like this is what we did for Seattle last night. So you guys get the same treatment. And we're all just kind of like, oh, it's really nice to hear. Yeah. And then, the staff were fantastic. Like, I couldn't even name them all, but everything from like photographer to game day staff to our coordinate Pete, like everyone was just so like involved, so professional, wanted to make sure our experience of not only the Capitals organization, but of the city was great. And the girls did a tour of the monuments, just a fantastic group of people working behind the scenes there. And then, like I said, the facilities were amazing, great fans. The fans came out, obviously, as like a Canadian team playing in the States, like this rivalry doesn't stop at the Olympics. Like nobody was cheering for us.
Oh, for sure. They probably were booing.
Well, there was Toronto team. There was one group of fellas, I would say, that we may have met at a restaurant the night before.
A pub, probably.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
We were out for beers after Friday's game and they came out to Sunday, which is really nice. They were able to get their hands on a couple of our away jerseys. So actually the one guy was like probably 7 feet tall. Like he must have been a basketball player and he was wearing Lauren Gable's jersey. Okay. And like he made this thing look like a crop top. Like it was fantastic. And they were great.
That's good. Like, so they met you guys on Friday and then you convinced them or just said, come watch us. And then that's awesome.
We were all out, like the whole team was out and Boston was out as well. Because we had played them on Friday. And it was just a little bar across the street from the hotel and we had Saturday off. So it was like ideal situation for us, work or play Friday, Sunday. And so we got into one a little bit, had a few drinks and then, the table was right beside us. And we just said, hey, like, he's like, what are you like, what's your sport? Obviously, like, you could tell.
What do you mean? I don't know.
You can tell a group of
I love when they guess the absolute like wrong sport. Like, are you a swimmer?
That's my favorite. Beach volleyball player. Like this face is not meant for beach volleyball. Those girls are all gorgeous.
Sorry, have you seen this? I'm not sure.
Sorry, keep going. They're great. And then they're like, oh yeah, we're going to we told them we're going to play on Sunday. It's a championship game. Like, and they came out, which is amazing because the rest of the crowd, like I was about to say, I saw a Black Girl Hockey Club that was there. The Washington Spirit came, their women's soccer team. A couple of the guys from the Caps came. Like it was incredible.
There's a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So I saw the trophy actually. That was one of my questions. The NWSL trophy and a little bit of a joke. So they came in and then did they do like a puck ceremonial thing? And then it was just a meet and greet?
They literally just came to the game. Like we didn't get to meet. I mean, maybe they had something upstairs, like while we were in the game, but they gave like for the girls that went on the tour of Washington, they gave all of them scarves, like their team scarves. And they brought the trophy and that thing is freaking heavy. Like I'm not exaggerating. It probably weighs like 40 to 45 pounds. Like it was a good weight. And the cool thing in their league is that they actually get to keep that trophy. Because I was like, oh, so do you only keep this for the time that you win? And they said, no, they recreate it every year. And then as a team, you get to keep it.
That is cool.
Really cool.
Thinking about it, I feel like, no. Yeah, that is very cool. It was not the Clarkson Cup. Let me tell you that one.
No. A classic trophy, but
trophy.
Not the Clarkson Cup.
Went through a lot.
It did. It broke several times, I want to say.
Yes, and got fixed quite a bit. But to go back to that, I was actually pumped that you guys were going to meet them or even like, I think it's awesome when sports supports sports. Like in university or in college, you always go, yes, you're friends with them, but it's encouraged for players or like student athletes to go and watch, other sports. And I think you get to like the games that they play because you meet them, because you get to know the people, and you also understand a bit more. And usually what I hear on about women's hockey is, oh yeah, I've never been, I'm not going, and then they finally come, they're like, wow, like this is actually really good.
Yes.
I'm like,
and I think that's something that our players probably miss about university hockey.
Yes.
Like I know I certainly do, is like you become friends with like your men's team, and then you support each other through playoffs, and it's a different relationship because you get it. You know what I mean? Like you get the whole experience, not just being a hockey player, but you get the pressures that you're under and highs and lows and playing well, not playing well, whatever it may be. Yeah. So I think that's a relationship that, I would love to see at a professional level. And
one sport that does it really well is the basketball. WNBA, NBA is so good. Yeah. Like the guys know, I was watching quickly a clip, but the guys know exactly who everyone is in the WNBA. And the questions were like, hey, who would you pick for like a 3v3 tournament? Yeah. And the guys were like, boom, like just raffle names every, like, okay. I think, I'm not saying the NHL guys don't know any of us, but it was cool because it wasn't just
a lot of Hillary Knights and
and Kendall Coyne, or Decker, right? Those would be like 4 that come up for sure, a ton. And then I just thought it was cool because it wasn't just the Sue Birds that were named in the WNBA one or by the NBA guys. It was like, everyone from like Boston to not Boston, from any teams from Vegas to Seattle to anywhere. So it was very cool to see. And I don't know.
And like they know their style of play. Like they're like, oh, I'm going to need somebody like, fast or whatever. That they knew how these players played. The other league that I would say like rivals that, and I don't know for sure on the social side, but in Australia, they're like Aussie Rules Football League is like, they're like partnered. So they like share the same logo. They share the same facilities, and it's like a really cool experience. Obviously, actually, I should shout out my Aussie fam now because I lived down there for a year and I had a fantastic time playing hockey down there, which is
that's amazing.
Wild when you come back to North America. People are like, they play hockey in Australia, but I know that I have seen on Twitter, we have some fans from kind of all around the world, which is really, really cool. Yeah. But yeah, shout out to my Melbourne family there. Foxy and Kelly. But and you know what, and that's the thing is like the sports like structures, we get so like tunnel vision by this is how it's done in North America, and there's so much to learn in the world of sport and successful models out there. So we're picking and choosing the pros and cons. I mean, I think that's the benefit that we have of stepping away, is that we don't have to negotiate anything right now. We can literally say, these are our standards. And if you're in, great. And if you're not, that's okay too.
Yeah. And it allows you to probably skip like a few years of the WNBA has been created like, let's say 50 years ago. Well, maybe we're like, because of that, because we learn from everyone else, and you get to like, again, learn from other, business model or sports model or whatever it is, league models. Maybe you can skip 20 years out of like the pain that they went through and start, at a better spots than they ever started. Or maybe they start at the spots that they're at. Yeah. And thanks to them, to everyone that has fought, to get to where they're at with like all the benefits and everything that they're signing, because I don't think those would be even like conversations that people could have in the future
and we couldn't ask for it like out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like if nobody had, said, I don't know, I want childcare benefits like in the WNBA, then we can't just like out of the blue be, we're going to be the first ones to do, like, no, somebody wants to make sure that this has worked somewhere else. Like it would, not that it would be impossible, but I just feel like the risk factor would be a lot greater.
No, and for sure. Or it would take longer. It would take like years to get it approved versus like, makes sense. Like all these demands that people have done before us. Yeah. I think, and before any other leagues, like right now that are renegotiating their like CBAs are in the thing, like they're in such better shape than they were probably when they first started too. So,
and like you say, we lean on the work of their shoulders, really. Like they've carved out a space for
Thanks
women's
to all
sports.
of you guys.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's change topics a little bit. I do want to hear about the Rivalry rematch. Like I said, I was able to catch some highlights.
Yeah.
And obviously they didn't disappoint. I want to start right from before you can puck drop with the Canadian tuxedos that came in.
That was so good. I think I'm not sure, like, I don't know who had the idea, but I think it was genius. But the women's team showed up in very different or various style of Canadian tuxedos.
All denim.
All denim. And I think one of my favorite, if you guys can go check it out, the Blair Turnbull had like an overall like skirt, jean skirt. Like, I don't even know how. And then she was wearing a plaid, a shirt too, like red and black, probably the Canadian one. Yeah. And, you know, with her Pittsburgh, like jersey attached around her waist and stuff. She was just so good. It was perfect. It was really good.
Was it Tampa Bay who did it? Because somebody had done it, and the NHL had done it recently. So yeah, I'm sure there was some inspiration there.
Yeah, the guys all had it. I think they were in Nashville. I think it was a classic in Nashville, and they did something like that. Or
that checks out. Something like that.
Yeah, it does. But I will say that the girls did really well. Like it was like full on talks to like, I don't even know, like some people are like obviously the hats with it and everything. Yeah. And it was just, it was good. If you guys can go take a look at their Instagrams. There's a couple of stories there.
We'll fire that one up. Yeah. And like you say, like it's fun, right? And that was the purpose of this game. It was to bring hockey to Pittsburgh, have fun with it. It looked like both teams put on a show. I saw the highlight of the goals. Like Nider's goal was like classic Hillary Knight, but just so dirty.
She right, left, back end. Yeah, it's in. It was a great move, great breakaway too. Yeah, nice little pass. I think it was 1 or 2-0 when she scored. I can't remember exactly, but that did help and give a lot of like, you know, the fans loved it obviously, and they were cheering, and it was good. It was good to see. And as you said it, like the game, yes, it was for fun, and like, you know, it was presented by the PWHPA. So the jerseys were sick, by the way, too. That is another thing. Like the Canadian Tire was a partner for that too, as well. And you could tell they were like the NHL kind of quality jerseys as well too, same as ours. And it was just good to. It was good to see them, yes, wanting to put a show on the ice and everything, but also being so, you know, they're gonna put a show. They're gonna play hard. It's still gonna be like tough to play against each other in the terms of like they're gonna hit each other. They're gonna go at it. It's not just for fun. Like, hey, like here's the puck or anything. They're always gonna want to compete. Yeah. But it was good because like we saw all the players play too. Like all 3 goalies went in as well too, and they each got a period, sorry. And it was you know, I don't know, it was fun to watch. It was I was impressed because not gonna lie, they didn't practice or do much since the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they I know that some of the Canadian girls went on vacation.
Exactly. And you win a gold medal. So you're not necessarily just putting water in your body at that point in your life. So there's probably a couple of things that like, you know, your body is feeling it then. And not to take anything away from the game. I thought they did an awesome job. I thought they, you know, competed. They did put on a show. And again, Canada was like all over them for a bit. And then US had some, you know, bursts here and there in their zone, and we're like wheeling and dealing in there. But I'll say too, like none of the NCAA players were actually allowed to play in that game. So with that being said,
compliance rules.
Compliance rules and everything. They were there to support and be there to like meet fans and everything, which was awesome. But USA only had 3 lines, and I think 5D, maybe 5D. I think they were able to do a 4D. We both talked about it. Like the bench management at the Olympics probably prepared them for this game.
They had 3 lines, but they only played 2 before, so they were in good hands.
Yeah, I guess so. But Yeah, maybe that's it. But again, it would go to,
yes,
an OT scenario. And
okay,
I wasn't going to say it, but Poulin again.
Yes, Poulin, obviously in overtime. And like the play itself was like, honestly, okay, regardless of how the puck went in the net, it was very Sidney Crosby 2010.
The cut back. I mean, you have Kendall Coyne on your back, right? She is fast.
Yes.
And she's agile, and the little like shimmy that she did and then came back just gave her like that. And Kendall wasn't far. Like she was back at it. Like she didn't get like completely, faked out, I guess. But she gave herself just enough space to come back and have that chance to. And I think she was going for Melo. I think she was going to pass it for Daou.
No question.
That was coming in behind Keller. And then poor Keller hits her skates and just, goes right in.
I hate to see that.
Hensley. Again, as a goalie, how does that feel actually?
You know what? It's just like a fuck. that's literally just like that, eh? Like you can't get mad at your D did nothing wrong.
No,
you did nothing wrong. Like it's just like one of those plays that you're just like, well, that's just how it goes. Actually, I remember, speaking of funny goals, this is a sidebar, but there was one game in the CW days we were playing and Howie was in net and she had a puck, like we were playing against Calgary. I don't know if we talked about this in her episode or not, but
I don't know.
She had a puck that like went underneath like her pad into like where your skate is, like the toe cap of your skate.
Yeah. Got
stuck in there. She didn't know where it was. So she like butterflied around and then it kicked out into the net.
No.
So it's just like sometimes you just like
catch it. Yeah.
Yeah. You're just like, okay, is this my luck? And unfortunately for obviously the Americans, like it just felt like, well, fuck, that's our luck right now. Like,
yeah. Typical, right? Like I'm sure after, they were like chatting in the middle too. And that's I don't know who was talking to Pooh. I think it was Snyder or whatever. And they're just talking and probably saying like, typical, you would put it. And then
great job,
you couldn't let us have it in OT, right? Like you couldn't, so it was, I guess the part two was fun. At the end of the game, like it was just, they were there for the people there and they put on a clinic too, prior to that game. And, again, it was to promote women's hockey. And I think they did a phenomenal job in terms of like the game itself. And then everything else above and beyond to like meet the fans. Like, I don't know if you saw the lines for the signatures after the game, but it was going pretty much around the rink.
That's
like
amazing.
People wanted to meet them. And
that was the sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a big thing. And, this is the first time we see this after the Olympics. And I feel like if we keep seeing these kind of like rivalry rematch or tour that, soccer does and it's been brought up now to our game. I think that these games would benefit, like our fans would benefit a lot from, getting to see these two teams playing each other again in different scenarios, maybe, but yet as intense as they would be prior to the Olympics or at the Olympics. So, I hope we do it more and more. And it was fun to see, Cassie and Jana were coaching the Canadian team and Cami Granado was on the other side. So, those are like, I mean, your I guess idols are coaching you as well too, as they are players. Right. And they, Cass doesn't want to coach or whatever. I texted her. I was like, hey, you look good behind that bench. She's like, no, not happening. But it was just good. It was a good atmosphere. And you could tell the coaches were, intense as well too. I saw Cass walking like down the bench a couple of times to try to figure out what the OT rules are going to be. And
you can't take that out of a hockey player. And that's like, honestly, having those legends behind the bench is probably a very full circle moment for them as well, right? Like they've went through, as much, if not maybe more of the uphill battle and trying to earn, the credibility in their sport and their craft and doing it full time and being taken seriously as a pro athlete. And so they get it. And now you're seeing it, like you're just seeing the momentum. I just feel like this momentum is just like so forceful right now. And it's like, here you are in Pittsburgh, hosted by the Pittsburgh Penguins on this huge surface. And like, it feels like it's just a full circle moment.
And I love that they want to be part of it too. Yes. I think that's the other cool part. Like we're talking, let's say Cassie and Cami, like both are, pretty busy people, I'd say, women. And Cass probably had a game with the Flames that night or that day and decided no, sorry, I can't do this game. I'm actually going to the women's rivalry and I'm going to be part of it. And I want to bring it over. And same thing for Cami. And I just think it's good and we appreciate it. And it means a lot to us, the players, but I think to everyone that's ever been a fan or was a fan of watching, let's say, Cassie Campbell play hockey. Yeah. Well, now you get to watch her coach these phenomenal athletes on top of it. Right. So I think it's awesome that they want to give back to the game. And, Cassie said it in our episode with her, and it's more so about doing the work in the background and pushing the way she can, right? Instead of tweeting, she'll call.
Yeah.
The president of any. Yeah.
Yeah. Building out that history that, like we want to kind of freeze these moments in time because this is a very pivotal part, hopefully in the longevity of our game. And I did want to mention too, the jerseys from the game. You talked about them a little bit, obviously beautiful jerseys. I love that they stayed obviously true to the colors, two national team colors, but the sales of those, they went for sale, and the sales went to the Pens Foundation, which is champions of youth in their community on and off the ice through the power of hockey. So that was a cool thing too. Like I love, awesome. I actually, maybe we'll have to do some research, but this group of women that we represent in the PWHPA is a very highly community oriented group. And I think that's part of what, propels our identity in leaving this game better than we found it. Is just that these are people that really want to give the game back to others. And it's not, you're not giving back to the game, but you're giving the game to others and people who either can't afford it or, don't see themselves in it or, whatever it may be. And I would love to have, a section where we can maybe promote some of our players' organizations. So it's like you said, Kendall Cohen-Schofield has her own foundation. Brianne Decker has a foundation. Brianne Jenner runs, a school. I'm pretty sure she has a foundation as well. But it's just there's so many ways to give back.
Yeah. And each teams this year too is also helping in their own communities in terms of organizations that they wish they could help for. It could be from, it could be a breast cancer foundation that they want to help, or anyone from, youth growth and make sure that they are allowed or get a chance to join a sport of any kind of whatever it might be. But every team this year is wanted to do something different. Mm-hmm. And again, Courtney is helping us out to run this whole thing. And it's just good. I think you said it, but it's all in us. We want people to help us create something, but we also want to help the people. I think that drives us more than anything else. So
reaching back has been a part. And like you said, Courtney Cito has been a great advisor to us, particularly in helping focus on racialized groups and minorities.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. The only thing that's kept all of us in the game this long is just that we love it. And when you share that love, you want to give it, it's only as good as it is, as far as you can send it to somebody else.
We could probably touch on those as well too. In our next few episodes, we'll have a little section for it too. And promote these organizations.
I love that. I love that. Feel good story. Well, I feel like, we've given a good rundown of the last couple of weeks. We'll be having a guest on our next episode on Tuesday, who it will be to be determined. But
we know, but they don't know.
Yeah,
that's
they
how it is.
But of course, Peterborough Pete's hosting the game at PMC 705 on March 26th. That'll be an exciting game. And I wanted to talk about this all-female broadcast team: Katrina Quazin, Megan Roy, and Julia Toshri. I hope I said all those right.
Nice.
Really cool that the Pete's, wanted to have an all-female broadcast team, female staff, help put, our voice on the game. And I'm really looking forward to being there, to playing, and see the crowd that we get in Peterborough.
I can't wait to beat you during that game. No, just kidding.
Actually, I did see somebody posted we'd have to wear each other's jerseys for the next 3 episodes.
Okay.
So
okay,
we could arrange that. We could arrange that.
I think that's a good one.
At tickets.memorialcenter.ca. And then Kax.
Yeah, I want to, we said that we would say things ahead or maybe when it happens and describe a bit more. I am so pumped. The actual Dream Gap tour is finally stopping in Montreal. And we're going to have a showcase. Yeah, I'm pumped. I hope we fill up this arena. We haven't seen hockey or women's hockey in a little while now. I think 2 years officially. We had a couple games prior, but guys, 2nd and 3rd of April weekend, you have to be at the Auditorium de Verdun. So Verdun Auditorium. This is where we will be playing. The showcase is called the Cortex Showcase, proudly partnered with the Center 2102, who we all know Danielle Sauvageau is a big part of. And all 4 teams that should be there will be Harvey's, the Montreal team, Bauer, Boston, Adidas from Minnesota, and Scotiabank from Calgary. And you might be able to see some of your favorite players from Toronto in a couple of these teams. We'll see how it goes.
We will see. I'm so pumped. And like you said, the fans in Montreal are, top notch. I know that they're going to sell it out. I'm so looking forward to watching those games. And
Montreal fans, you heard it here. We need to represent. Everyone needs to be there.
It's happening. It's happening.
Yeah. And we're going to try to get some of our beautiful Olympians to come and meet and greet and watch the games as well too. So you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss it.
Lots of fun to be had. All right. We will see you April 2nd and 3rd, and of course Peterborough Pete's March 22nd, March 26th. Sorry.
You got it.
The Knoxy and Kax Show on SDPN, produced in partnership with the PWHPA. Follow Knoxy and Kax on Twitter at 27Knoxy and at Karell Emard. The views expressed are those of the individuals and are not necessarily those of the PWHPA. Check out sdpn.ca for more Knoxy and Kax and the rest of the SDPN crew.
She scores!